What are you looking for?
I'm looking for my homily.
What are you looking for? This is the first Sunday since the second Sunday of Advent that we hear Jesus' actual words. Have you noticed that? We had not heard a single quote from Jesus all these Sundays, from the second Sunday of Advent till today. Jesus is asking us, what are you looking for? What are you pursuing? Very deep question that demanded a deep answer. But the disciples in today's gospel don't really answer it. Or maybe they do, but they answer it with another question. They say, "Teacher, where are you staying? Where are you abiding?" That's a very interesting question. The normal thing in the time of Jesus for a disciple to seek a teacher for his wisdom and his eloquence, his speech, it was to ask him, well, when are you going to teach me, Lord? So it's very interesting that the disciples don't just ask, it's like, can we be your students, Master? They say, where are you staying? Where are you abiding? So it could be said that the teaching back then mattered more than the teacher. The disciples back then, they would be looking for the teachings more than the teacher. But in the case of Jesus' disciples, they do not ask about the teaching of Jesus. They do not question whether he was wise or not, if he gave beautiful speeches. No, the question they ask is, where do you live? How's your life? They want to know about Jesus' life. Is it an attractive life or not? These disciples are drawn to Jesus by the way he lived. The gospel says that they saw where he lived and that they stayed with him that day. The life that Jesus presents to them is the one that attracts them, convinces them, and leads them to follow him wherever he may go. What are we seeking? By answering this question, we will find out a lot about ourselves and our interior life. In other words, tell me what you love, and I'll tell you who you are. Tell me what you love, and I'll tell you a lot about yourself. We are after that which we love. The disciples loved Jesus since the first instant, and they felt drawn to leave everything and abide in him. Ultimately, we know where Jesus truly abides. He abides in the inner life of the Trinity, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. That's where he wants all of us to be. You know, the Gospel of John is full of this theme of abiding. I don't know if you have caught that before. It's all about abiding. You know, this is the same gospel where we hear Jesus, he who eats my flesh and drinks my blood abides in me and I in him. Or when he talks about, which is very famous for funerals, when Jesus talks about that he is preparing mansions in heaven for us to abide eternally. And many, many more examples. John's gospel, it's all about abiding. There was something about Jesus' lifestyle that attracted his disciples to live with him, to follow him. Just as one lifestyle attracts people, another lifestyle easily repels. Today, more than ever, in transmitting the message of Jesus, the lifestyle of those who transmit that message counts a lot. The lifestyle of those, church people really produce a lot of criticisms. It produces news, right, in the media. And it can happen, that the message is hampered by the lifestyle we offer. A real, a simple, a humble life filled with charity favors the transmission of the message of Jesus. It's not just about the teaching. It's not just about the content. But if we are seriously about evangelization, if we are serious enough about discipleship, it's not just about the teaching. It's about the lifestyle that is going to be the fruit of that teaching. Life and message go together. It is sometimes commented on how difficult it is today, especially, to speak about the Lord, to speak about faith in Him, of how people, they say that they don't hear the voice of the church anymore. And we wonder why. And is it not because our lifestyle is not in accordance with the message that we proclaim? Beauty attracts. Somebody who made that very famous, it's Bishop Barron, right? The church has been teaching that. That's why we have so much beauty throughout the centuries, because that's the wisdom of the church. Beauty attracts. The beauty of Christian life is holiness, right? The arts, visually, they attract. But the Christian life, what is the content of that beautiful life? Well, it's holiness. Holiness attracts. And we don't even need to say much. Right? Our life can speak for itself and attracts others to the Lord. People are quick to detect a fake Christian life in which the ego is what is being served. But when people find out authenticity, they follow. These readings today, we can say they're very vocational, right? With the calling of Samuel and, here am I, Lord, I come to do your will. And we reflect upon, the lack of religious vocations throughout the whole world. We need more priests, we need more religious sisters, more nuns. But I'll be honest, if we go back into the history of the church, go back to the cure of arts, St. John Vianney, how many priests were in that town? I don't know how many, but probably many more than what we have now. In the surroundings, I mean. But then here he was, St. John Vianney, one single priest, living the beauty of Christian life, which is holiness. Wasn't he attracting people from different towns, and they would walk miles to hear his sermons, to go to confession? See, probably it's not the number that we're lacking, but it's the quality. One authentic Catholic, well, one authentic religious, one authentic priest can attract many, many, many people. What are you looking for? That's the question of today. You know, this is important for parents to attract their children to live an authentic Catholic lifestyle. For those who were chosen as godparents, uncles, aunts, teachers, catechists, of course, consecrated people. It's important to attract others with our lifestyle. There are people who convince others more by their lifestyles than by their message. That's so true. And that can go very wrong as well. Because in society, they don't care too much about the message, but they care about how they live. That should be also our commitment as Catholics, because the message is truth. So now imagine if life and message would be perfectly synced in a Catholic. See, people who are living authentic Christian lives, they're telling the world that there is something in their life that has to change. We have to convince ourselves first in following Jesus, and that means that we're not just after His doctrine, but rather is configuring our life to Jesus's. That's what happened with the disciples. They were attracted to the lifestyle of Jesus. Then later on, they were trying to understand some of His parables and His wisdom, but it was His lifestyle. It was Jesus' radical kindness and love and forgiveness and the way he lived as a son, withdrawing Himself to the mountains to pray for hours. A lifestyle of fewer words and more of a dedicated, sacramental, and intentional Catholic life. That's what we need. I will end this homily with a quote from St. Pope Paul VI. He says the following: "Modern man listens more willingly to witnesses than to teachers. And if he does listen to teachers, it is because they are witnesses."